Assalamu alaikum. In today's video, we are looking at another brilliant game of Mikhail Tal which he played against Joel Lautier in 1992. In this game, Mikhail Tal made many positional sacrifices which helped him to win this game very easily, and that's the reason why I selected this game. Without wasting any time, let's start the game. In this game, Mikhail Tal was playing as a white, so he started the game with the d4. Now knight to f6, knight to f3, e6, preparing this d5 move. Mikhail Tal played g3, preparing this bishop to g2, and black played b5, preparing this bishop to b7. So now bishop to g2, bishop to b7, and Mikhail Tal did castling on the king side. Black played c5, attacking the center, and Mikhail Tal played bishop to g5, pinning this knight. So black played queen to b6, removing the pin, and now a4, attacking the b5 pawn. Black played a6, guarding this b5 pawn, and Mikhail Tal again attacks it with the knight to c3. Knight to e4, offering the knight exchange, and Mikhail Tal accepts it with the knight captures on e4. Bishop captures on e4, a captures on b5, queen captures on b5, and after queen to d2, Mikhail Tal has completed his development. But if we look at the black position, his bishop on the f8 and his knight on the b8 are not developed. That's why he needs 2 or 3 moves to do castling on any side of the board. But still black didn't develop his any minor piece, and he played f6, attacking the bishop, and after bishop to f4, again he didn't develop his any minor piece, and he played queen to b7. But if we look at the black point of view, he is pinning this knight on the f3 square, because if this knight moves, then black can play bishop captures on g2, and Mikhail Tal would not be able to capture this bishop with the king, because this bishop would be guarded by this queen. That's why black in this position played queen to b7. So Mikhail Tal continued the game with the c4, and now c captures on d4. So after c captures on d4, Mikhail Tal sacrificed his first minor piece of the game with the queen captures on d4. And now black played e5, forking the queen and the bishop. So Mikhail Tal played bishop captures on e5, f captures on e5, and now queen captures on e5 check. So the question is, why did Mikhail Tal sacrifice his bishop in this position? The answer is because of this sacrifice, Mikhail Tal had exposed his opponent king, and now he will take advantage of his opponent weak king. So after queen captures on e5 check, black finally played bishop to e7. But this is Mikhail Tal's game. He didn't stop at this position. He sacrificed his another minor piece with the knight to d4, giving away his bishop on the g2 square. Black accepts the sacrifice, bishop captures on g2, and now Mikhail Tal played knight to f5. And after knight to f5, Mikhail Tal is threatening the checkmate with the queen captures on e7. That's why black in this position played queen to b4, and after king captures on g2, Mikhail Tal get his piece back. But if we go back, according to the stockfish, the best move for the white was knight captures on g7 check. And if in this position black play king to f8, then after knight to e6 check, Mikhail Tal is easily going to win this rook. That's why in this position king to f8 is not the best option. For the same reason, you cannot play king to d8 because of knight to e6 check. That's why the best move for the black in this position is king to f7, but now knight to h5. Mikhail Tal is again attacking this rook, so let's say rook to f8, and now after king captures on g2, this position is winning for Mikhail Tal because of the black exposed king. And if we look at his another pieces like this knight on the b8 and this rook on the a8, they are not developed and they are not doing anything in this game. That's why this position was totally winning for Mikhail Tal. But in this position, Mikhail Tal didn't play knight captures on g7 check. Instead, he played king captures on g2, and now finally black developed his knight with the tempo knight to c6, attacking the Mikhail Tal's queen. Now queen captures on g7, attacking the rook, and finally in this position black did castling on the queen side. But if we go back, according to the stockfish, the best move for the black was rook to f8, developing his rook but with the tempo attacking the knight. But black didn't play this move. Instead, he did castling on the queen side, and Mikhail Tal played rook captures on a6. And still after doing castling on the queen side, black king is still weak because he has no pawns on this c, b and a file. That's why Mikhail Tal played rook captures on a6, and now black played queen to b7. Queen to b7 is not just attacking this rook, but he is also threatening some nasty discover checks with this knight. So for the third time in this game, Mikhail Tal gives away his exchange sacrifice with the rook to a1, because now black played knight to b4 check, and after king to g1, knight captures on a6, queen captures on e7, and black played queen to b6. So now now queen to a3, attacking this knight with the queen and the rook, and black played rook h to f8, counter attacking the Mikhail Tal's knight. So first knight to d6 check, and after king to c7, Mikhail Tal won this knight with the queen captures on a6. And if in this position you are thinking about queen captures on d6, that's not possible because now Mikhail Tal can play queen to a7 check, and if you play king to c8, then rook to a6 is a checkmate. That's why in this position king to c6 is not possible. Let's say you play king to c8, but now rook to a5, threatening this rook to c5 check. Let's say you play queen to b4, but now rook to c5 check, and now there's only one move for the black, which is queen captures on c5, and after queen captures on c5 check, black has the two rooks in exchange for the queen, but he is losing this game because of these two pawns. Because if we look at the Mikhail Tal's position, he has 4 extra pawns. That's why this position is totally winning for Mikhail Tal. That's why after queen captures on a6, queen captures on d6 is not possible. That's the reason why black in this position played rook to a8, attacking the queen, and Mikhail Tal exchanged the queen with the queen captures on b6 check. Now king captures on b6, rook to d1, rook to a2, attacking the b2 pawn. So now rook to d2, defending this b2 pawn, and black played king to c6. So now f3, rook to a8, knight to b5, rook to a4, attacking this c4 pawn, and Mikhail Tal in this position played rook to c2. This is a very defensive move because if we go back, the best move for the white in this position was rook to d6 check, and now black has two options. The first one is king to c6, and the second one is king to b7. But after king to b7, Mikhail Tal can play rook captures on d7 check, and after king to c8, rook captures on h7 is just winning for Mikhail Tal. So let's say in this position you play king to c5, but after b3, this position is again winning for Mikhail Tal. But Mikhail Tal in this position missed this move and he played rook to c2. So black continued the game with the king to c5, and now Mikhail Tal played knight to c3, forking the both rooks. But this is not the actual fork because now black can play rook to a1 check, and that's what black played in this position. Now king to f2, rook captures on c4. Rook captures on c4 is a mistake because now Mikhail Tal can play b3, attacking the rook, and after rook moves, Mikhail Tal can give some nasty discover checks with the knight. But Mikhail Tal didn't play b3 move. Instead he played rook to d2, attacking the d7 pawn. So now rook to a7, guarding the d7, e4, king to c6, king to e3, rook to b7, rook to c2, d6, king to d3, attacking the rook on the c4 square. Now rook to c5, f4, and black in this position played rook to b4, which is a mistake because if we go back, the best move for the black in this position was rook to b3, and now this knight is pinned, so black can easily play this d5 move. But he missed this move, and in this position he played rook to b4. So now g4, king to d7, g5, king to e6, h4, d5. Black in this position is offering the pawn exchange. So stop the video and try to find the best move for Mikhail Tal in this position. Should he play e captures on d5 or knight captures on d5? Well, if in this position you are thinking about e captures on d5, this is a mistake because now black can play king to f5, and now black is easily going to win these 3 pawns because on the next move he will play rook captures on f4. That's why in this position e captures on d5 is not possible. That's why Mikhail Tal played knight captures on d5, and now black is forced to play rook captures on c2. So now knight captures on b4, rook captures on b2, attacking the knight. So knight goes to c2, rook to b3 check, king to c4, and now rook to h3, attacking this h4 pawn. So Mikhail Tal gives the check with the knight to d4 check, and after king to f7 he played f5, giving away his pawn on the h4 square. Black captured it with the rook captures on h4, and now Mikhail Tal removes the pin with the king to d5, because if you don't play king to d5, then on the next move black will play rook captures on b4, and then this knight would be pinned. So black played rook to g4, attacking this g5 pawn, and Mikhail Tal played knight to f3, guarding this g5 pawn and also threatening this nasty fork with the knight to e5 check, forking the king and the rook. That's why black played rook to g3, but Mikhail Tal still played knight to e5 check. Now king to g8, f6, and now there is no way to stop this f pawn from promoting. Black played rook captures on g5, king to e6, removing the pin, and now rook to g1, preparing this rook to f1 and attacking this pawn. But now it's too late because Mikhail Tal played f7 check, now king to g7, knight to d7, and now there is no way to stop this. f8 is equal to queen. Black played rook to f1, f8 is equal to queen, rook captures on f8, knight captures on f8, and in this position black didn't capture the knight back, instead he played h6. But if we go back, let's see what happens if you play king captures on f8. After king captures on f8, Mikhail Tal will play king to d7, and now there is no way to stop this e pawn from promoting. Let's say you play h5, so now e5, h4, e6, h3, and after e7 check, king to f7, and now Mikhail Tal is easily winning this position with e8 is equal to queen. That's the reason why king captures on f8 is not the best move in this position. Black played h6, so now knight to d7, h5, knight to e5, h4, and after knight to f3, black resigned in this position. The reason is very simple, because now it's impossible for the black to promote his pawn on the f file. Let's say after h3 you play king to g6 or king to g5, that would take a lot of time, and on the other hand Mikhail Tal will play king to d7 and he will easily promote his pawn in the next 4 moves, and that's the reason why black resigned in this game. So I hope you like this brilliant game of Mikhail Tal, and if you like it, please like this video, subscribe to this channel to get more amazing and inspiring content.